It's funny. Only 4 teams. Now we can confirm with 4. Carolina's not going to be the 5th. Not this season, anyway. Had done a reverse sweep in NHL history in its 100 plus years of, I would say, illustrious history, but they're just leeches off the Stanley Cup. Um, and I sit here, and all Carolina did was fail to do something only 4 teams in NHL history have done. I come out of this game feeling like we got hosed. We had it. We had the series, we had the momentum, and we choked it away in the third period. Now, if this was just a regular game 6, it would have been fine. It would have been going back to 7. Rangers would have had some momentum, but anything had happened in a game 7. But Carolina's failures in the first half of this series caught up to them in this game. That's just, it was what it was. They made it a series. I respect the players and their ability to get it done. But at the end of the day, they failed to make it a series, and some of their issues rang forward again. The first goal you could call a weird. We'll start from the beginning. First period, the best way I would describe it was other than until Carolina scored, you could tell both teams were nervous going into this game. But first period, Carolina became what I described as quietly the better team. They weren't converting on chances, but they were creating more. They were playing their style of hockey. They were sound defensively, transitioning in the offense better. And they got up 1-0, and they failed to maintain the lead. And they came out of the first period the better team, up 1-0, great. Second period, most important and best period of the series. Martinook with an amazing diving save to hold the lead. Carolina goes up 2-1 on the power play. Carolina didn't have a full 2-minute power play all game. So it make of that what you will. But they get the goal off the power play the one time they got it. The Hurricanes power play got it together by the end of this series. But I mean, it's just when we'll get to the special teams later. But at the end of the day, it was, it's the best way to describe it. But at the end of the day, the Rangers came back. They got it within 1, and I was thinking, oh no, Rangers have momentum. I've seen enough Hurricanes Rangers games in the playoffs. I was scared, and then my confidence was lowered off an amazing play of the season. Svechnikov, who's been a player to take a hit, makes a play, sees Keandre Miller, thinks that's what he's going to do. Before he even picks up the puck and wins the race, he knows he's going to win it. He tells Aho to go. Aho goes. And Carolina and Svechnikov turns away to throw off Miller's timing, bounces the puck off the boards perfectly. Aho goes down and scores. The Stars once again show up on this game. Gensel not as much, but no, Gensel might have got a point on the power play. Maybe not, but like his line got a goal. And it's 3-1. It was 3-1 game in franchise history. 11 years ago, the iconic, luckily because the Hurricanes, the benefits of being a small market, that's not going to, it was 3-1 isn't going to stick with us. The series is going to be remembered for the Hurricanes almost reverse sweeping and then failing. And the game 6 it will come up. But yeah, they go up 3-1. They continue. Second period was amazing. I'm thinking great. Third period's our game, and for the first 5 minutes of the third, it looks like it. But Carolina, they had them in a chokehold, and they failed to make the Rangers tap out. I'm not going to say no quit in New York because screw that saying. They didn't earn that saying. I'm going to be honest. The way Kreider earned that saying, but Carolina failed to make Kreider by his muscly neck tap out, and they hit 2 posts. Aho's got to put that puck in. He does an amazing job to get the goal in, but he's paid star money. He has to put that puck in the net there, in that position, in that game, off that scoring chance, and he failed to put in a breakaway. And then there was another opportunity from Jordan Staal. Jordan Staal, you need to bury that in that situation, and Carolina failed. After Kreider scored a fluke play by Freddie. And then what happens after that? The Hurricanes, there was a delay of game. The referees didn't see it because it was a chip-in battle. It was close enough. It's not a reviewable play, but it's a challengeable play next season. And it, it's just like, okay, Hurricanes get one. Oh well, whatever. We'll move on. But then the NHL, and this isn't, I'm not blaming this game on the refs or anything like that, but in their infinite wisdom of you got to make up a call, we can't impact the game, da 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 da, all this managing the game. A simple board play by Jordan Staal gets called a penalty, and the Rangers go on the power play. Now, what's my saying on bad calls by the ref, missed calls by the ref, makeup call BS, NHL nonsense? You have to play through it. Carolina, once again, that special teams failed to play through it. They failed to play through it, and the Rangers score another goal. And I was thinking Carolina had the series. They win this game, they probably win game 7. This pressure of the Yankees in 04, the fact that only 4 teams have done it, and the Rangers, are they going to be the 5th team in NHL history to choke a 3-0 lead in the playoff series? All that, Carolina probably wins game 7. But because of the special teams, again, for failed to kill it off. They were too aggressive once again. And it wouldn't be as big of a deal if the special teams was better. We win the series in general. The special teams cost us this series again. But they failed. The Rangers tie the game. And then off a really good forecheck, off an icing, those goals are going to go in. I can sit here and nitpick. Chatfield failed to box off Kreider. But Kreider scores a natural hat trick. And Kreider's going to be a demon for the Carolina Hurricanes and their fans for a long time because he gets a natural hat trick. And that's it. The Rangers take the lead in the third period. They weren't going to eat. All Igor had to do was kill 6 minutes of play. Best goalie in the world. Maybe Ottinger's better. I'm biased, so I'm going to say Ottinger's better. But honestly, Igor's probably the best goalie in the world. Top 2 at least at this point in the way the NHL is working. And all he had to do was kill 6 minutes, and he did. And then Gaudreau puts in the empty netter. And the Hurricanes have no one to blame but themselves coming out of this. Hurricane of the game has got to give it to Martinook, his amazing effort in the second period. But it's the Hurricanes lacked killer instinct. They take one of the overtimes, they probably win the series. They take the double overtime. They take the other overtime on home ice. They probably win the series. They did an amazing job coming back and fighting back in the series. I admire them. But all the criticisms from the first 3 games don't go away now. You lost the series. Those criticisms, where was the depth when you needed them? Because it's impossible to come back from 3-0. It's not a percentage thing. It's only 4 teams have done it. And you're against the President's Trophy winning team, the team that's probably going to win the Cup. I mean, Dallas and Colorado are probably going to kill each other so much. I mean, there's just no other way to look at it. Florida-Boston is a brutal series, and the Rangers gave themselves an extra day with this win. It's just the Hurricanes. I cannot believe them. As soon as I was actually sitting there being like, oh, maybe they're going to reverse sweep, they failed. And that's what hurts. I actually started to believe. Like, I was like, all right, this is fine. This is bonus time. Like, game 6 is not where the anger's from. The frustration, the special teams, absolutely. But I think Rod Brind'Amour with these next 2 games genuinely saved his job, or his re-signage with the Carolina Hurricanes. And when it comes down to it, what needs to change in the offseason? And, Kuznetsov showed up and the answer is probably the middle 6. Gensel, Aho, Svechnikov were amazing all playoffs. They had one game 5 where they weren't great, but other than that, they got a point every game, and the depth stepped up in game 5, where it was one of those plays in the first 3 games. And that, but the middle 6 has got to go. I think Kotkaniemi, I don't have a desire to see him in a Hurricanes jersey. I think Teravainen was very underwhelming all series. I think Teravainen, I don't want to say washed because that's rude. I think he's a depth guy who can't score as much well as he used to. I don't have a desire to see Toivo back. Now, if these guys come back, and I wouldn't say I don't want to. I don't have a desire to. Necas has really come into playoff form. Necas has proven me wrong this series in these last 3 games, but The way I look at it, Gensel, Aho, Svech, and these are just depth charts. Lines shuffle way too much. I think depending on how much centers go for, you keep Natchez on the wing to see if you can get a really solid second line center. Jack Drury, I think, takes the third center on paper. Jack Drury really had a good game, and I think he's one of those players that's going to get better. Martinook, I still like, he has a great game. He's a clutch player. You need that in your bottom six. I still see Martinook as a bottom six. Daravainen comes out. Kotkaniemi comes out. He's playing fourth line minutes. He doesn't get paid fourth line. It's time to move on. Even though he's my age, I'm at the age where you're supposed to be entering your prime. Look at Svech. So that, like, the players Natchez is playing with, I think needs to change. I mean, now if you want to course correct in the playoffs and reunite Drury and Martinook, absolutely do that, especially if they play as well as they did this game or are playing as well. Like, it's something you can try. So these are just, keep in mind, these are just depth charts. But other than the depth charts, I think Jordan Staal, it's time for he still should be captain, should be brought back. I would say he should be fighting for the third line center spot. You got to come in. You got to. Carolina is stocked on centers, but I think, well, Drury. So you only need a center. You need a scoring winger who can play, another FU, I'm going to score a goal guy like Gensel was. A great addition. You got to resign Gensel. And, yeah, that's kind of the forward. And then the depth core, I think maybe add some more physical stuff, but Martinook is great. Nason's great. And, Jordan Staal and Drury fighting to be third line center versus a guaranteed set second line center. I think you need a stud second line center, or you give Natchez a look and bring in a scoring winger to play with Natchez the same way you brought Gensel to play with Aho. And then Nason has that FU attitude. I don't think toughness is an issue with Carolina. They have Brendan Lemieux. He's good depth. D-wise, I mean, offensive, I think Brady Shea, I don't need to see come back. They have a lot of UFAs. If you can upgrade the top four pair, I think you bring back Pesce. I think the series showed how important Pesce is. But Slavin, I think Burns, a year from now, he's older. I think you got to find a new guy to play with Slavin, a new offensive defenseman to play with Slavin. I think you keep Burns as a reliable weapon up front. Like if you can slot him in there, someone gets injured for depth. Pesce, a new defenseman, Orlov and Chatfield should stay. And goalies Anderson, Kochetkov were not the problem this series. So that's it for this one. Great season. I would say just good. I mean, it's just kind of like they lost in the second round again after breaking through last year and then getting swept. It is what it is. They put themselves in a position to have to do something that only 4 teams have done before. They almost did it. They failed because of a third period by Kreider, and it was 3-1. See you guys for a little bit next season and then playoffs, and we'll do some off-season coverage. I always get the itch to come back, and then I get busy with life, and I can't follow the regular season as closely. But I'll do some off-season stuff and everything. Maybe cover the finals. If the Rangers are there, probably not, because they're my least favorite team. It is what it is. See you guys then.